going to use this. I'm not as loud as Jim is. I've been sitting here all night, and the budget keeps coming up. It's certainly one of the major functions of the county. And having been businessmen and management and experience, I had 35 years in the furniture business as an operations manager. Here's how my budget went. I got to do an annual budget, month by month, week by week, line by line. I did an anticipation of what our income would be, and I was assigned a bottom line as far as profit. Not profit, but my cost of running the operation. I did a second budget every year, called a shortfall budget. If business was down 30%, what would I put in play? And it came down to Jim last salary, your salary, his salary, all listed, line by line, the hours you would work in that shortfall budget. I had to make schedules for everybody, for every month, with a 30% downfall. And that was implemented several times. Why can't government work the same way? If there's no money coming in, why don't you shift gears and get into where you're at? I still made money on those budget shortfalls, but people had to go, things got cut, services and so forth. Why can't the government do it the same way that business does? You can't just keep asking for more. I couldn't ask for more from my customers.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely.
I forgot whose turn it is. Is it?
Yes.
It might be.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's what we do. I mean, like I said, we're bound by the state constitution to have a balanced budget, and we start out. And fortunately, and that's one of the things too that is never brought up, is we have some great department heads and our great constitutional officers, because that budget, as we said, is everybody, sheriffs and everybody else. We have this little deal, the accounting deal is cash carry forward. That's at the end of the year when everybody says, this is what we had in our budget and we didn't spend it all, so you get it back. That goes into reserves. That's how we were able to increase reserves 16% last year, because between us and the constitutional officers didn't need the money that we had asked for. But we do have to we're bound by the state constitution to have a balanced budget come October 1st.
I've been a businessman all my life. I've had the same issues you've had. In 2007, 2006, our company went from $14 million in sales before taxes to $4 million the next year. We had 24 employees. We now have 9. Decisions had to be made, but I had every number in front of me. Now, you're asking me to make a decision based on, I have none of the numbers. I understand what you're saying, and we have had to do that, and you can do that, but you want to make sure that you have all the biscuits in the bag before you do that. I want to look at every line myself. Just like you, I had to get to a number. How you get to that number is decisions made about people's lives, about their benefits, and about the way you handle your business. And you have to know all about the business to do what you said you did.
My military background has required me to be proactive. We have to plan for unknown situations. We have to have solutions for those situations should they occur. This falls right in with what you're saying. However, you have to be on the money, line item by line item, knowing where you can cut, what can be cut, what can be increased, what can be decreased. It's not an easy thing, but it's something that you have to be prepared to do at any given time, or you get behind the power curve, and then it's just catch up as we're in now.
So you're correct, and what I would personally be careful with, again, coming back to cutting services, because I would be swearing an oath when I take the seat of County Commissioner to protect the well-being and the safety of our residents. But there are other line items where we promise certain amounts of dollars every year to certain organizations or institutions. While I support those, and I might say, you know, they're in need, I still have to also think of the entire budget of the county. I don't want to make an enemy by making this statement, and I could totally kick myself in the rear possibly by bringing this up, but I want to use this as an example for you to just have clarity. Talking to my clients and speaking to them about their personal budgets, there was a discussion the other day, and one of my clients said, how do you feel about the library? And I said, I love libraries. Our kids need to be reading. They need to be educated. But you know what? Here's one thing to think about. Our society is all going electronic. Okay? They're with iPads and iPhones and so forth. So we have to just be, I'm for the library, but we have to think of items like that when we're doing our budget.
Okay, just very briefly, I want to thank Mr. Allen for taking an incredibly boring job and doing a perfect job of raising up the I want to thank the commissioner candidates for being very respectful of the time. That has allowed us to get through all of the questions before 9 o'clock. It is 2 minutes to 9 o'clock right now. We do have 2 questions from the audience that merit asking, but I kind of want to show of hands. Can we go over a couple minutes? Because it takes about 4 minutes to do a question and answer. Okay? I'm going to do the one I like the most first. The Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land for our citizens and states. Do you believe we need to amend the Florida Constitution to say these words? Why or why not? Want me to repeat it? Okay, and this is going to Ken, I think, isn't it? Ken is the one that's going to start if he wants to.
Is it me?
Say it again. This goes to Pat. Pat, I'm sorry. Okay, the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land for our citizens and states. Do you believe we need to amend the Florida Constitution to say these words? Why or why not?
The supreme
Why or why not?
Why would we need to change the Florida Constitution to say that the United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land? Or why not?
Well, I think that we need to, as a state, we are our own. And I think that the Constitution is of the land. But I think the state of Florida must have rights as they do with the insurance deal. I think we have to be able to govern ourselves in those issues. So I think that we should add it.
They should or shouldn't?
They should add that we can make our own.
Oh, right. Leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
I agree with Mr. Edwards. The Florida Constitution is our Constitution. You have 49 other states. They have theirs. We have ours. It's because we have unique situations. We need to keep ours as it is. We need to leave it the same. If somebody else wants to change theirs, they can, but ours is fine.
I support the general Constitution, but Florida is a sovereignty, and I respect that, and I want that. So leave it as it is.
Yeah, you know, the federal Constitution is the do all and see all. I compare that to in our Constitution to, like, you got state troopers out there, and then you've got Nassau County deputies. You know, so you've got one and the same. But hopefully, without offending anybody here, I don't want to have the same Constitution that New Jersey's got, or Pennsylvania's got, or California's got. You know. I want to keep what we have and let us govern ourselves, and we can do that by going to the ballot box on August 14th.
Okay. Last question. If I didn't use your question, I apologize, but we ran out of time. Do you believe developers should pay impact fees, and what about businesses?
Yes, developers should pay impact fees. Businesses, it should be a different situation because obviously the person that's opening the business is the owner of the business. He's not developing it for someone else. But basically, yes, I agree that developers should pay impact fees.
I do, but I believe in fair and balanced. And let me give you a statistical analogy that you may not be aware of. But not every county in the state of Florida uses impact fees. Those that do have increased over a 10-year period. They did a study, the university did. Nassau County increased over 300% in a 10-year period. Duval County was the only other county who increased above that. The number 3 county only increased 118%, and 4 and on down was 3% and under. So Nassau County needs to control its fees.
I agree wholeheartedly. As a matter of fact, the whole 4 years I've been there, we haven't collected impact fees. Now, the school board has. But I want to say this, we are looking at it because the impact fee system that we had in place was put in 1988, and nobody ever took the time to look at it. We put together a task force to look at it, to decide what was best for Nassau County. Do you realize that the impact fee system that we had in place, you paid the same amount of impact fees if you were putting a single wide trailer on an acre of land in Callahan, or you were building a 50,000 square foot movie theater in Fernandina Beach. It was wrong, it was outdated, it needed to have something done, and we put some people together on a task force, and we're looking at it to get that remedied.
I think we have to have a fee, whether you call it a mobility fee or what you want to call it. But I think that we cannot charge the people coming here for the mistakes that the county government made 10, 15, 20 years ago to try to make up for the issues. So I think that we have to do something, but it has to be fair. I've built 3 houses in Nassau County in my lifetime. I've paid impact fees. When I sold one of those houses, they paid no impact fees. So we have to come up with an equitable way of taxing people. And that's what it is. It's a tax for coming here. So I think we have to have something.
Okay,